So good afternoon. This is page Y261 class. Last week we talked about the component of the Earth surface. I'm talking about the compositional layers as well as the mechanical layers. Today we continue with the class and we want to talk about the surface structure of the solid Earth. When we are talking about the surface of the solid Earth, so this surface of the solid Earth witness series of features such as mountain, ocean, and continent that happen over a geological time. And this manifestation of the surface of the solid Earth took place over a long period of time. And some of the features are explained below. We have the example of the features are continent, ocean, atmosphere, mountain, and so on. So the continent is formed as a result of lava that flows as a result of volcanism activities from the interior to the outer layer. This lava now cooled down and became continent. The ocean is formed from the interior of the solid Earth as a process of the eating up as well as differentiation process, whereby some water-bearing elements are released. Some water-bearing elements release their water molecules, which now accumulate on the surface to form the oceanic water. And also we have the atmosphere, which is as a result of differentiation process that enables some gas-releasing chemicals to react with others and now brought about much gases that now accumulated above the solid Earth. Let me now use the opportunity to tell you that the Earth's surface is constantly being changed by both endogenic and exogenic processes. What I mean by endogenic processes are processes that are of internal origin. This endogenic process now results in volcanism and tectonism, as well as exogenic processes such as erosion and deposition. All these processes led to the Earth's surface to constantly change. Now, about 45% of the solid Earth, surface of the solid Earth has sea-to-sea interpolar, as well as land-to-land antipodal. Northern hemisphere has about 60% of land and 40% water, while southern hemisphere has 61% water and 39% land. You can see that the northern hemisphere as well as southern hemisphere has different components of land and water, that is continent as well as continent and as well as ocean. So in general, the Earth's surface has 29% of continent and 71% that is covered by ocean. In other words, the total world area is approximately 5 times 10 to 6 kilometers square. The Earth surface is basically viewed in 3 forms. We have you can view the Earth surface from the top, and the top surface of the solid Earth is given as continental platform, while the geoid is the sea level, that is where seawater will flow to it if the continent were to be tunneled. So geoid is the equipotential surface to which direction of gravity field is everywhere perpendicular. In other words, geoid is referred to as the physical equipotential surface of gravity. An ellipsoid is the shape of the solid Earth and is the ideal smooth surface of the Earth in its oblate form. You can see from this diagram that the distance between the top surface of the continental as well as the sea level is known as elevation, usually given by h. So if you look at this diagram, we have the elevation, the continental, which is the difference between the top of the continent as well as the ocean surface. We have the continental shape, continental slope, ocean water, ocean floor, and mid-ocean. Each of these features has meaning. So from the diagram, you can see that the elevation h is the height of the continent relative to the sea surface. The average elevation of the continent is around 0.88 kilometers, while the average depth or the ocean floor is 3.8 kilometers. We said last week that continental rock are lighter than the oceanic rocks, and there is worldwide mountain range that crosses the ocean basin 1,000 kilometers wide and 65,000 kilometers across the world. Different continents, different countries fall within the southern hemisphere as well as the northern hemisphere. So I wanted to put to you as an assignment that you should look for countries, you list countries that are within the northern hemisphere, as well as countries that are within that falls under the southern hemisphere. Categorically, I also want you to place Nigeria. So I want you to tell me where the Nigeria belongs. Is it Nigeria belongs to northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere? So in conclusion, we have to tell us that the interior of the Earth, as we said before last week, composed of the crust, mantle, and the core. And the characteristics of this layer vary based on scientific evidences, based on physical properties. Each of these layers vary based on physical characteristics, such as density, ability to flow, as well as temperature. So most of the surface structures of the Earth are consequences of events that originated from the solid Earth. For example, the Earth interior is also in motion. Though the mantle may appear as hard and solid in nature, but we said last week that the upper mantle has the ability to flow slowly. That is, it exhibits a softer plastic behavior. And also, deeper inside the Earth, we also have the liquid core that has a very high temperature and has the ability to flow at a geological rapid rate of a few tenths of a millimeter per second. So this is telling us that most of the surface structure of the Earth are the result of the events that originated from the solid Earth. And we say that this event can be endogenic process or exogenic process. And this endogenic or exogenic process contributes to the surface structure of the Earth. So we continue from this point next week.